Hi everyone, it's Marc from Vintage Card Voyage. I am here with Ken. And so this episode we thought we would talk about the largest card show coming called the National in Cleveland that I actually am going to for the first time in my life. And I've known about this show since I was, first collecting in the 80s, and this is a pretty big deal for me. And so whether this is a bad choice or not, I have decided to go for all 5 days, Wednesday through Sunday. So, but Ken has gone previously, and so I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk with him about the National and get kind of his perspective on it, and ask what the questions I kind of want to know going into it, and figure people watching would probably have the same kind of questions if they haven't gone.
And a little background, I've been to two. I went to Cleveland in 2019, and then I went to Chicago last summer, 2023.
Right.
Is that right?
It is.
And I feel like my second experience was much better than my first. So hopefully I can impart some of the strategies I used to Marc, and other people can learn from it.
Yeah, that'd be great. So the first question I got is, how did you prep for the National, or did you?
Yeah.
Really?
So the first National I went to, I didn't do much prep. I had a list of cards I definitely wanted to buy, and I accomplished that.
Yeah.
So one thing to note is that you can get any card you want, which is kind of amazing, right? Any card you want. I wanted a Jim Brown rookie card, and I wanted a Walter Payton rookie card. I got both of them there. If you are thinking that you want to target like one particular card and you want to fully shop and look around,
right,
I would say that's a bad strategy.
Okay.
Because there are so many tables and it's so vast, and they don't help you with organization. There's not, maybe they've done it this year, but there's not a section for vintage. There's not a section for basketball. There's not, it's just a hodgepodge of 1,000 tables, something like that. So you'll drive yourself crazy because you'll say, oh, I saw a Brown over there. How much was it?
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend that, but you can get anything you want. So anyways, that's the background. I've been to a couple. Other thing I would say is I've been to a few Burbank card shows, and I just went to Chantilly last week.
Right.
And those are similar, not as big, maybe a third of the size, but the same kind of overwhelmed ton of dealers, and probably something you should do for more than one day.
Right. See, because I've heard before that some people have said you walk through, do one walkthrough, kind of get a sense of everything, and then do the second one where you actually want to buy something. Don't buy in your first walkthrough. Yep. I don't know if you could do that at the National because it's just so huge.
It's so big. I mean, I don't even know if you can do a walkthrough on your first day.
Right.
Because you're just gonna see, there's so much eye candy too. All the dealers are bringing their best stuff, so you're gonna your eye's gonna get caught. So my number one tip is that plan a little obsessively about what you want to buy and what you want to see.
Right.
And then the first go around, you could probably spend the first day where you just say to yourself, I'm not going to buy anything. This is what I did the second time. I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. It takes the pressure off of trying to find the right price, and it also makes you feel like, you're there on research.
Sure.
So I'd bring a piece of paper or your phone, and then write down the numbers of the dealers that have the things you want.
Got it.
And then the map is really important, and I guess they have an interactive
map. I found out watching, I believe it was a Mike Moynihan video, actually.
Yep.
He was talking about that they have the virtual, interactive map, I should say. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I do think it's a great strategy since you're going to be there 5 days. I was only there 2 days. Spend 1 day just looking.
Right.
I would apportion a significant amount of time to the auction shops.
Okay.
Like Heritage Auction and some of the other ones, because this stuff they have there are one of ones.
Right.
Things you've never seen before. The most blingy of bling things.
Right.
And you just owe it to yourself to be able to look at all that stuff and enjoy it and not feel rushed and not feel time constrained. That's one thing I forgot to do.
Yeah.
Even the second time is I got to the auction section and I was like, oh my God. I forgot to look at the auctions. So
Yeah.
I would say like a portion sometime for the auctions,
Mm-hmm.
a portion sometime for all the massive dealers you're going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you know people ahead of time that you want to see different dealers,
Sure.
then hit them up also on the first day so you can see what they have.
Got it.
I wouldn't plan on spending any time digging into the dollar bins or even the $5 bins in the first day. You might
Right.
want to do that later
Yeah.
if you have time, but I would push that to the end because in my mind it's like you go to the National to just get that kind of amazing experience of the cream of the crop of cards.
Right.
You can dig into those cards at the local shows. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do it there, and you're not going to get a better deal there than you would at a local show.
Right. I'm almost in a way looking at it like a museum experience, like just kind of going to see everything and like absorb it, take it in.
Yeah.
I noticed though when you were talking about like going to what to buy and what to like look at, like were you doing any selling at all?
I didn't do any selling. I know people do. I just think that slows down the primary thing I'm there to do, which is basically see things.
Yeah.
See things, and there's going to be a lot of things you see that you just can't afford, but at least you want to see them and take a picture and dream
Right.
about it. And then, but actually getting down to like, building my collection and finding the gems in the collection.
Got it.
You go to a local show, you might not see a Jim Brown rookie card.
Right.
In a 50 tables or 100 tables, you will see many of them there.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's it can be overwhelming, but that's why I think having a really good plan about what you want to see and then what you want to buy is important.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. So, and my next question had been, did you have a plan for each day or just wing it? So obviously you did have a plan. First day, kind of just look, and then the next day, the buying.
Yep. And the buying it's like a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
Because I had taken notes the first day. I knew which dealers had the cards I wanted. I did do a round of going back to see. Sometimes they change the prices. Sometimes, things change in terms of, sometimes it's gone
Right.
too. So, but you got to start somewhere. And so that first purchase, my recommendation is if you're in buying mode, don't wait too long to buy the first thing because you want to start getting into that mode of negotiating and try to do your research in the night. Like if you have your list of cards that you saw that you wanted to buy,
Don't do it
don't do it at the table. You could certainly do that. Like I know a lot of people do that, but I think it puts you in a better negotiation stance if you know ahead of time what you're willing to pay.
Yeah.
So if you do your research in the night before, you'll go there, and I think the dealers respect that too because you're not wasting the time by disagreeing about what the last comp did. Right? You just go, well, I'm willing to pay this amount.
Yeah.
And then you go back and forth. The other thing, and this may come later, but it's good to have cash.
Yeah.
And Venmo and multiple ways to pay them because different dealers like different things.
Sure.
So.
That makes sense. I wasn't going to ask about that, but it's a good thing to have. Did you stand in the autograph lines?
Okay, so I did not. And the reason I did not is because, first of all, the lines are long.
Yeah.
So it might be different for you because you have 5 days. You could dedicate one day just to autographs.
It's true.
And that might be a good way to go. For me, I was there for 2 days and parts of 2 days. So I didn't feel like I wanted to take away from the time waiting in lines. And I tend to be okay just buying autographs later in secondary markets.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so we had discussed this earlier, but I know Barry Sanders is going to be there, and he was one of my favorites. But again, I know he also had a health condition recently, so maybe that'll change. It's in fluid condition or fluid, status, whatever. But I think just to be able to see him and meet him,
and just to meet him, I think would be worth it.
Yeah.
That is one of the really amazing things. You'll see all these Hall of Fame players sitting close to each other in this huge room, and it's amazing. Yeah,
and actually, as it happens, I had bought like a couple of recent drawings, one of Barry Sanders and one of Bo Jackson, and to put up, and both of them are going to be at the show, and so it's like, maybe I'll just get these autographed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the price changes based on what they're autographing or whatever, but it might be interesting. I know and the prices are pretty ridiculous as far as like generally on autographs, but might be worth it. So anyways, okay. How did you feel like the prices compared to other shows or eBay for that matter?
So I think the premium cards, they know they can get that dollar amount. Right. So you're not going to get much discount from those. So I would say that at the National, you're going to actually pay more. I know that doesn't sound like you would think because there's more competition.
Right.
But for them, they have the cream of the crop of buyers there.
Right.
So at least my experience was you don't get much of a discount on the premium cards. Okay. Now the tier 2 lower cards,
right?
I think you can because they're looking to also sell in volume and just realizing how much they pay to be on the other side of the table.
Right.
Especially in the later days, I think you can get pretty good deals doing that.
Interesting.
And you know, especially the stuff that's not front and center in their display cabinets, you know, the stuff lower onto the side. I think you would get a
more negotiation possible. I'm wondering if it's like one of those like airport mentalities where like the vendors in the airports know that they can jack up prices because you're stuck there. I wonder if it's the same thing with the National. So.
Yeah, I think so. I've been to local card shows where guys are getting tired or they're having a bad show and they'll just sell at a huge discount.
Right.
I never sensed that at the National.
Were you there on Sundays?
I don't think I was.
Because that might be
change.
I'm wondering, into the thing, they don't want to take anything home. It's kind of like we'll get rid of it, whatever.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, even between 2019 and 2023, is that you now have dealers who, this is what they do. They go from show to show to show to show. So if they can't sell something, no big deal. They're just the next weekend they're at a different one.
That's true.
So keeping an eye on going to the dealers that don't do this like every week. Right. Maybe they wanted to roll the dice and be at the National one time.
Yeah, interesting.
You're going to get a better deal at those places than the guys that obviously sell everywhere. Okay. Who will be at Burbank, who will be at
Dallas
Chantilly and Dallas and all the big shows.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what were your main takeaways from the National?
I mean, my main takeaway was it's like an incredible experience. It's like it is exactly what you dream of. You know, if you're a card collector and you haven't been to National, you kind of have to go. Right. It's the Mecca. And so number one is just the incredible experience you have. It's overwhelming. That was the thing. So one thing I would recommend is take breaks. Yeah. Like because I was only there 2 days, I felt like I had to be there from morning to night, and I got really tired. Your legs get tired, your eyes get tired. Yeah. So just apportion breaks. The other thing I would say is like when you take your break, do a mental assessment about like, okay, how am I doing to get my goals? Right. Because I think what can happen is you get thrown into these, you'll see something that you're not expecting to pay to actually buy, but you'll want to buy it because of the emotion.
It's there. Right.
Yeah. So I would actually put a portion of your budget for that unexpected thing you're going to see.
That's good.
You'll see so many things you've never seen before.
Right.
So to me, like it's incredible the depth and the breadth of what you see. And then it's really cool just to meet some of these people. So that's another thing. It's like, take the time, get to know the dealers. If you can form a relationship, that's great. Right. And then in the future, you'll go back and they might remember you. And it's a ton of fun, but it's very draining. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I am wondering if I'm going to regret going for all 5 days. I mean, I may just take a day off or something. Like I actually am planning to go to the Football Hall of Fame. Okay. But I was going to do it like the day I got there on Wednesday in the morning, like go before the show, like for half the day or whatever, and then go to the show starting at 4 o'clock or something on Wednesday. But maybe I should just hold off and just do it like during one of the days or something. I don't know.
And for you, because you're there 5 days, I mean, hopefully the Indians are in town. Usually they sync it up with baseball.
Yeah, I think the Indians are, I believe, but I'm not sure.
So And you'll see a lot of the people at the show, at the game, but
Right.
go to the baseball game, just go out and have a nice dinner in Cleveland. Just
Right.
like I would say, break it up. They also have a lot of trade night things
Yeah,
happening,
yeah.
so that's another way to break it up from straining your neck looking at
Right.
glass display cabinets the whole time.
Right. Right.
So I don't think you'll have trouble filling 5 days
Probably
of
not.
activities.
Right.
But-
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame also.
Yeah, but I do think you'll just get worn down. And,
Yeah.
just always revisit those goals. I had a sheet of paper
Mm-hmm.
of what I wanted to buy, and I try to stay as much to that. But you get pulled here and there. It's like,
I keep feeling like going in, there's no way I'm going to get tired of this. Like it's going to be fun the whole time, just looking through, but I'm like, I also know how old I am, and it's going to wear me down probably.
well, okay. Here's a question for you. Is there one card that you want to buy really badly there, like on the top of your list?
It's funny, I don't have like a list yet. I haven't put one together. Like that's why I think I told you, like, I'm looking at it from a museum perspective. Like, I'm just going to see everything and kind of like soak it in almost. And so that's probably not the best way to look at this, because it should be a buying opportunity for me. But I have, as you know, I want to get Hall of Fame rookies,
Yeah.
and like in slabs at this point. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
And then also like some of the novelty PC stuff, like the, for the Tigers, like the Trammels and Gibsons and Morris, whatever, like cards I don't have. I'm sure I can find some of those,
Yeah.
especially because it's near Detroit. And so,
Yeah, I'll also share one thing that I felt after both nationals, which is there are so many cards. Like the idea of scarcity, you start thinking, is this really that scarce? When I saw, 10 Jackie Robinson 1955 Topps cards,
Right.
or 50, you start thinking like, wow, they really did produce a lot of these cards. I don't know how scarce these really are.
right.
The reason I asked you that question about what card you would want to buy is because, how would you feel if you came back and you didn't actually purchase
Right.
what's at the top of your list?
Maybe the K-line rookie would be the thing to look for me, but I just don't know. Even at a low grade, it probably is about in my price range, possibly. So it's something to think about. Maybe raw might be something I'd be able to do.
The other tip I'll give you, which people probably already know, is like if you're looking at somebody who sells a lot of vintage, but you don't see what you want there, ask them, and they know where their friends are sitting, and this guy is over there, and that's helpful, because in a sea of tables, really, you're not going to spend quality time in that many, if you think about it that way.
Right.
Like, if you go to a local show and they have 50 tables, you can pretty much comb over all the inventory. You're not going to be able to do that here.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, thinking about, like, okay, there's 1,000 tables, say, like, I could do 200 a day, something, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And some of the tables, you'll frankly just not have interest in what
Right,
they
exactly.
have there.
There's going to be the TCG ones, or like the just modern, which I probably will just kind of walk on by. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other takeaways? Is that kind of...
One other thing I was thinking is, like, because you, like me, like little niche collectible things, think about the things that are really hard to find.
Right.
That you cannot find on eBay. And I bet you can find it at that show. Like, one of the things that I always wanted was a Sadaharu O baseball card. And you can find them on eBay, but there was one guy who lived in Japan for, I think, 20 years, and he was a big collector, and his display cabinet was full of them.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you think about the little niche things that are harder to find or that you won't see at your local shows, it'll be there.
Duka Hanamoku is coming to mind for me. The surfer from Hawaii. Like, he's amazing, and like I want to get his cards, and I've seen them once, I think, maybe.
Oh, that's great. I think
something.
you will find them.
I think that's something I should actually target. It's good that you brought that up. Yeah, Sadaharu too. Would be amazing to get one of those. I love him. So the only other thing that comes to, I think you already kind of tackled this, but if you have any other like advice for someone going for the first time, like anything else that comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, my main thing is, like, just be strategic.
Yeah.
You know, go in there with a plan. Go in there with a budget. I know I blew my budget both years.
Yeah.
And I kind of regretted it later to say, like, you know, because once you come back with the stuff, you'll think, why did I buy that? I bought that because I saw that early on, right? Like, and I thought I wanted that. The other thing to know is know what you have. I have made the mistake of buying things that I already had because I didn't have my list carefully taken, or I didn't take pictures of the things that I already had.
Right.
But not the end of the world if you buy something you already have. So
Yeah.
I think we got through it all. I would say, you know, the thing I'm trying to do more is talk to the dealers, get to know them, and think of it as a longer relationship. You might go to another national, or you'll see them at Burbank, and they'll remember your name.
I'm assuming they sell supplies there too. Like, there's
yeah.
probably okay. Because I was wondering if I should be like bringing supplies in case I buy stuff and want to put it, you know, whatever. But
I think it's good to have boxes.
Yeah.
I had little small empty boxes to put stuff in. It'll make you feel better about than just putting it in a pocket.
Right.
But they have supplies.
Okay, that's right.
They
The corporate sponsors or whatever, like all those tables.
Yeah, and that's another thing I should bring up. They have a lot of, you know, all the main car companies and supply companies, and they're there. I didn't want to spend my time looking at that stuff.
Sure.
But that could be another day.
I'll have time for it.
Yeah, you'll have time to do that. You can soak in everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate the guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
So I know you had one other thing for me.
Yeah, I had one more thing. I was going to give this to Mark as a little gift. It's and the viewers will probably know what this is. Cello pack, 1986 cello pack. There are 2 tigers. Actually, now that I look at the back, 3 tigers.
Oh, nice.
In this, so I was going to give this to Mark to open up, and we can just kind of like take a trip down memory lane.
I was gonna say I haven't. Yeah, let me see if I need this or if I.
Actually, I'm sure you know how to open it without scissors. So
it's been.
Before we do this, is there a player that you're hoping to get in there?
86.
86. So that would have been. Who's a good rookie from that year?
I mean, Canseco wasn't because he was in the traded.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think what 86 is. Why am I blanking on this?
You're blanking because I don't think there's a big card in 86.
I feel like there's got to be at least 1 or 2, but maybe I'm wrong.
Although people out there will probably tell
Yeah,
us,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
there's a big card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I'm blanking too.
All right. Well, yeah. More Tigers would be awesome, but you know, we'll see what we get. Okay.
Didn't Mike Heath play for the Tigers at one point? Oh, there's Gary Carter.
Yeah, Gary Carter. Okay, we got a Hall of Famer. That's nice. Rick. Bob Horner. Wow.
Bob Horner.
I remember Bob Horner from so I used to do, you know, baseball, fantasy baseball back in the day, and we had a draft at one point. Bob Horner became a very long point of discussion for some reason. I don't remember why specifically, but I do remember that. Mark Langston, that guy used to be the guy back, and he was like him and Dwight Gooden when in 84, 85, like it was a big deal.
Mark Langston is, as a former Expos fan, is
oh yeah, he became an Expo for
sad
a few
name
years.
because they traded for him at the deadline. We thought that was the deal that would push us into the playoffs. It didn't work out.
Right.
But he pitched well.
Jimmy Key, another guy who was
very
also
good left-hander.
very good. Phil Bradley, he was a big deal at some point, like kind of a big deal. Dave Rosema, former Tiger.
Yep.
And was he the guy that he and Kirk Gibson married sisters? Am I misremembering that? Or was it someone else?
I don't know if it was Rosema, but that
Maybe
is
it was.
true that there were 2 sisters who married 2 tigers.
Which is just a ridiculous thing that happened, but there you go.
So I don't know if other people out there do this, but when I open packs, I always pull the Hall of Famers aside.
Oh yeah,
And then
completely.
I pull the players from the team that are like, I'm pulling the former Tigers into one pile for
Nice,
Mark.
thank you. And yeah, here's the Kirk Gibson, as mentioned. Wayne
Krzyzewski,
great
who
name.
I believe played on the Tigers as well.
It's not before, but maybe after.
After.
Dusty Baker, obviously
So
great manager.
don't you think that should go in the Hall of Fame pile?
He will, I think, go in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think there's any way
Yeah.
he doesn't get in as a
It's
manager.
obviously not Hall of Fame, but
Right.
yes. Roger McDowell, that guy was
That
something
might
of a
be a
character.
rookie card.
I think so. Petrie, nice. Yeah, it is a rookie card.
Yep.
See, had an 85 traded for some reason. Here's another Hall of Famer, Mr. Frank Robinson.
And a turn back the clock.
Yes. Jeff Leonard, Gene Nelson, Alex Trevino, Mike Stenhouse. Ken Howell, Ray Siraj, or however that's pronounced. Buddy Biancalana. I love that name. Great name. Dave Smith.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Last one. We'll see if we get anything.
Hopefully we get like Ricky Henderson or
Mattingly.
Nolan Ryan or Mattingly.
This is a flashback to that.
Did you buy a lot of cellos or regular packs?
I did buy cellos, but it was just really what was available, honestly, and it felt like it was more wax packs than cellos typically. Mike Gallego.
Cellos were I think I'm right. Somebody tell me if I'm right or not. But I calculated how much it cost per card, and that cellos were a better deal,
slightly better deal
than the regular packs.
I think so.
So, and you could see the front and back.
Right.
So I'm afraid to admit I did look through to see if they were. But I would look for expos. I wasn't looking for like star players.
I mean, we have people now going to Target weighing each of the. Al Holland, Darnell Coles, Daryl Sconyers, Ron Washington, another manager, Ed Jurak.
That's the pile of third base coaches.
Oh,
because Ron Washington was a third base coach and Mike Gallego.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah.
Dick Hauser, actual manager at this point. Nelson Simmons, another Tigers.
Wow.
Rusty Staub. Wow, I can't believe he was still playing.
Former Tiger and Expo.
I remember this guy like back in the 80s. I remember seeing him because he was like, he started in the 60s and he was one of those 3-decade guys at that point. And like the fact that he's still playing in 86 is amazing.
And by the time he got to the Tigers, and he could barely run. I remember that.
Right.
Like, oh, he's so slow.
There's
another manager,
Dave Johnson. Yeah, Jim Gantner. Greg Gagne. Oh, Eric Davis. That's a nice one.
That might be a rookie card.
No, it's the second year, but way miscut, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? And Brad Wellman. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you for that little time
you're
travel.
welcome. At least we got a few Tigers in there.
Excellent.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe we'll do some more breaking.
Yes. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you appreciated the National, and hopefully I'll see some of you there. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment.
Thank you.